Alright everyone, now we have to talk about the great tampon shortage of 2022. I was joking about this the other day. Apparently the supply chain issue in the US, and elsewhere for that matter, is getting bad enough so that tampons, maxi pads, and things like that are in short supply, so it's not just baby formula. You're beginning to see breadline Biden and his Bidenomic lockdowner pro-lockdowner policies really start to become a problem. And again, I've told you, please stock up on the things that you need as far as basic foods at least, and medicine and shit like that. Make sure to get the toilet paper and the can opener, because you haven't seen anything yet. You're going to see it begin around, again, late July through September, roughly there, because then the Putin price hikes actually will exist. Right now it's all lockdownerism and Bidenomics. There will be another element to it in a few months, which is that fertilizer and oil prices will impact the price of the harvest. The harvest prices will impact the meat prices, etc., etc. Hell, that ethanol that they're pumping into the the gas supply, maybe they'll stop doing it because the corn will rise by 50% or something like that. We'll see what happens. But here's the thing. Joe Biden, here's the problem, is the optics. Joe Biden literally the other day was crowing about the fact that there was a 40% reduction in the number of shipping containers being held up in the ports over since November of the prior year. That's when the mainline shortages sort of began. There were some before that, but the lockdownerism really came to bear around late last year. Apparently it's considered an optical win when after more than half a year you've still got 60% of those container backups still happening. And he then talks about the infrastructure bill. Oh my god, we're going to expand the ports and solve this problem. How long do you think it takes, especially with the bureaucratic red tape involved with anything shipping related? Anything with regards to international trade, you're looking at years before those port expansions even happen. They're trying to waive the lack of semi-automation in the ports because the longshoremen don't like the idea. You realize how many litigations and bits of red tape and bouncing back and forth from committee to committee to agency to committee that there's going to be before any port expansion is made anywhere in the United States? It's not like a developing nation where you can say, oh, this port needs to be bigger. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll start pouring cement next Tuesday. It's not like China now, is it? Communist Party says expand the port. They'll expand the port. Fuck the permitting process. Arguably more capitalistic than what happens in D.C. at certain points. Here's why there is a tampon shortage, and a maxi pad shortage, and a baby formula shortage for which the U.S. military had to get involved with distribution again. Biden thought it was optically good to take credit for this. Yeah, I'm sorry I fucked up to the point where I had to get the Air Force to lift pallets full of baby formula to Indiana. I'm sorry about that. Look at how impressive it is. Look at these soldiers with all the baby formula. It's sort of like Christmas. They're sort of like Santa Claus. Biden probably believes this. He also believes he'll be reelected, apparently, in his wildest fever dreams. The reason is lockdownerism. Now, the lockdowns in the United States and elsewhere, by and large, in many places, were an executive level. They were legislative or they were at the provincial or state level. In the United States, because of the 10th Amendment, governors enacting a state of emergency were the ones that physically enacted lockdowns. With regards to everything except for travel restrictions and certain restrictions on the movement of trade, which Biden supported, by the way, Trump did not, with regards to everything else, it's gubernatorial. It's state level. Biden is not to blame directly for the lockdowns. Yes, I'm defending Biden on this. He didn't enact any lockdowns. Neither did Trump, neither could any other U.S. president. What Biden did do is use the state of emergency that Trump had said, well, we're going to fast-track vaccines, call it a day. You know, if you're sick, stay home. I don't believe in lockdowns. There was the 14 days to stop the spread or whatever the fuck it was. Ancient history now, nobody even remembers that period hardly. Biden, however, did much more. He openly called, as both candidate and asterisk president, for more lockdowns. Well, we need to close these businesses up. We need to make sure that people can't go to work unless they're vaxxed. We need to make sure people can't work unless they wear 5 masks. We need to make sure that people can't go to work unless they get tested all of the time, and leading to a lot of furloughs, a lot of problems among employees as well. We need to make sure people can't travel without constantly jumping through hoops. We need to make sure that the ports are safe. Quick, regulate them more. And you wonder why there were shortages at the ports. And I was joking the other day about this. I was saying that there would be a bunch of legacy media headlines about this. They would have to do with like Joe Biden supports free bleeding. Joe Biden reduces sanitary waste in landfills by 20%. Oh, the post-disposable sanitary world, you know, the Green New Deal and stuff like that. You'll probably see, I hate to say it, but at this point the legacy media keeps being so over the top in their defense for Biden. There's really no joke that I can make about what they would say about one of Biden's failures that doesn't, at least in part, eventually come true. It's straight up propaganda. It's like living in fucking North Korea at some points. You don't have this, by the way, almost anywhere else in the developed world. The United States has gone completely insane when it comes to so-called journalistic coverage. So it is the Biden tampon shortage, but not directly. And please, when you point this out, if you're satirizing Biden, if you're shitting on globalism, which is partially to blame for this, the global trade network and lack of self-sufficiency certainly doesn't help when there are port problems. If you're going to criticize him, don't say, well, Biden locked everything down and then there were no tampons for the women. Well, that's not true. What happened is that Biden encouraged other people to do it for him as middlemen. Gives him plausible deniability too. He did attempt at the federal level several steps to lock things down further. He got smacked down. You remember the OSHA mandate, one of the biggest failures of the Biden administration? So yes, it's the Biden tampon shortage. But so next time that you're free bleeding involuntarily and have stains on your panties at work, you can remember Joe Biden. He basically is a stain in the panties. Only he's not red, well, politically maybe a little bit. No, he's on the other end. He happens to be a brownish color. That's about all. Peace out.